Canucks. It's been a pretty unique last couple of weeks for the Vancouver Canucks. They have two Elias Petterssons, right down to the spelling, as they come into Missouri to face the Blues. Pretty momentous occasion for the Blues. 25 years of this building. They marked with a Stanley Cup. 30 years of it they hope to mark with a win tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. And it would be a pretty big win in terms of the divisional standings. As I'm trying to make sure everything. There we go. Score bug at the bottom. And the wild card standings, both teams just a little ways out. They can't make up everything on Calgary tonight, but St. Louis, 2 points back of Vancouver. Vancouver themselves, 3 points out of a playoff spot from the Calgary Flames. This could end up being pretty big in the long run. Remember, the Pittsburgh Penguins 3 years ago missed the playoffs by just 1 point. Yeah, I normally would be using in the background wouldn't work. There we go. Everything's set up now, or at least it should be close. There we go. Activities! Yay! Those activities are allegedly working. For the Vancouver Canucks, the big thing has been Quinn Hughes defensively, 2 points behind Colorado's Cale Makar for the most points made defenseman this season. And for reference about how good that is, there are only 3 defensemen with 50-plus points, Makar, Hughes, and Zach Werenski of Columbus. And Hughes and Werenski are the only players on defense to lead their team in points in the National Hockey League. So, yeah, Hughes is kind of good. Not just that, but Hughes is very mobile and covers most of the ice defensively. We're still 10 minutes away from puck drop. The Blues doing a little bit of honoring right now. Gentlemen like Bernie Federko and Brett Hull, and some of the unsung heroes of their years past, like Peter Kayanek and John Casey, getting honored tonight in St. Louis. With that, while we're at a little bit of a break, it is time to get to the rest of the games on the National Hockey League slate tonight. As the NHL hurtles towards their Four Nations face-off in just a couple weeks' time. News of the day, Fenway Sports Group is open to selling a minority share of the Pittsburgh Penguins and possibly open to more at the end of the season. Logan Thompson of the Washington Capitals has had a red-hot season, finally returning the Capitals' crease to numbers seen prior by Braden Holtby and Semyon Varlamov. A 6-year, $35 million contract is Thompson's reward. Across the league, the Los Angeles Kings are up 1-0 with 3 minutes left to go in the first period in Detroit. Philadelphia Flyers and New Jersey Devils, that's always a fun game. Devils are winning 2-0 with 8 minutes left in the first there. This is the third of 5 games tonight in the NHL. Seattle and Edmonton dropped the puck an hour after this, rather 2 hours after this, and Pittsburgh and San Jose the nightcap at 10:30 East. Now for the Pittsburgh Penguins, the ownership is not their only deal, as Evgeny Malkin out week to week and on injured reserve. New York Islanders also had to put Ryan Pulock on it today, and Nico Hischier not playing tonight for New Jersey. And Boko Imama, the cherry on top, let's call it, of the Philip Gustafson Matt Murray trade with Ottawa 3 years ago, and Jesse Puljujarvi are called up from Wilkes-Barre Scranton on an emergency basis, as Owen Pickering got sent back for seasoning to the baby Penguins. Malkin, 34 points in 47 games this year, not racking up the goals like usual, but he is seeing the ice, and it's still going to be a big loss. And another injured reserve player tonight is going to be Sean Monahan of the Columbus Blue Jackets, out another 6 to 8 weeks with a forearm injury. All scores will be on the... Oh, I forgot to put the ticker from here over. You see nothing. There's no technical error. Everything was fine and it made perfect sense. Again, there are no technical errors. Everything made perfect sense. And we do mean 30 years of the Enterprise Center. We mean it. January 26, 1995, the Los Angeles Kings came into St. Louis. Curtis Joseph ended up backstopping the Blues to a win. He would leave for Edmonton in the offseason. And of course, it wouldn't be a Blues game without a multi-point night from Brett Hull. The Golden Brett, 2 goals and an assist as the Blues ended up winning. And just a further note on that, a pretty interesting player from those Los Angeles Kings would end up on St. Louis that time next year in Wayne Gretzky. Sorry for the bit of dead air. I'm getting a little bit of news about the Blues. Speaking of which, they will have a 30-year sort of mini-series done throughout the rest of this regular season. It will first air, of course, as a part of Blues hockey on television, but it will eventually end up on YouTube, as all things do in this rate. Which, thank you if you're watching on YouTube. I saw we had 5 viewers for our last couple of games. Yeah, I'm more or less doing this so you guys have the tickets at the bottom. Alex Pietrangelo will be out for the Four Nations face-off. David Pastrnak, the player of the week for the National Hockey League. All right, I guess buttons just aren't going to work on my keyboard. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I wish I could play without getting possibly strict, struck down, but things are happening right now. A couple of the referees were fashionably late to the game. That always, yeah, that's bound to happen time to time, right? Scott Kennebec going ahead with the national anthems. Of course, tonight with Vancouver in town means we get to hear "Oh Canada." There we go. Kennebec only did "Oh Canada." All right. Very, very, very strong national anthem. And with that, we get a good look at our goaltenders for the night. For the St. Louis Blues, it is going to be Jordan Bennington. No shock in net. 13, 18, and 3. An 898 save percentage, 3 shutouts on the season. He has started to come somewhat alive in the last 2 weeks. He will need to be solid if the Blues want to sneak into the playoffs. For the Vancouver Canucks, it's Kevin Lankinen, who was called in pretty much under duress to start the year and show his stuff with the absence of Thatcher Demko. Now with Demko out again, Lankinen is still entrusted in the pipes. The record doesn't lie, neither does the save percentage, and the goals against stellar for Lankinen this season. It is the TJ Luxmore and Mitch Dunning crew with the orange armbands, Tyson Baker and Jonathan Deschamps on the lines. In the middle of it all, we are underway. I can get back over here. Vancouver won the faceoff, ended up batting it back into their own zone. It's going to be played defensive point to point. As the Blues cut that one off at center, clear it in, and they did just barely gain the center ice line, so Hughes has to start all over again. There we go. Everything's set up now. A couple chunk chances by the Canucks couldn't get past center, but the Blues couldn't gain the blue line. So it's pretty much just been keep away on one half of the ice so far from Vancouver. Lead pass ahead. Hughes hits on the left side. That one's going to be batted away in front of the net by Philip Broberg. That was an attempt to play by former Bruin Danton Heinen. Miller trying to drag it along in front for Brock Besser, and Besser got decked. Great defensive play there by St. Louis to cut off the pass, trying to go through the slot from Miller to Besser. Oscar Sundqvist, Alex Texier, the St. Louis players out. Vancouver, they technically have no scratches. Everyone that's scratched is injured, that being Tyler Myers, Kiefer Sherwood, and Dakota Joshua. Cam Fowler, longtime Anaheim Duck, looking to play the puck ahead for the Blues, and he does to the right wing side. However, it was batted off the stick of of Brandon Saad. Back away. At the point, Justin Falk playing keep away for St. Louis. Wrist shot left point. That one got knocked down. It was a shot from Fowler again. 2 minutes gone so far. The defensive pairings, well, if you saw the Blues last game, not any different. As that one's going to be played behind the net for Robert Thomas. Thomas looking for Saad, trying to play pretty much just locking down the puck on the left wing side in the offensive zone, but nothing worked there. Vancouver trying for a home run pass. That one goes underneath the stick of Phil DiGiuseppe, the journeyman, and all the way down. Ryan Suter behind his own net, trying to play it to the left wing side. Here come the Blues through the middle, 3-on-3, but they won't make much headway. They have to play chip and chase, and that is what works for now. Zach Bolduc trying to play this one to the right side. Couple bodies about tangled up there. It was Tyler Tucker meeting with JT Miller, as that one's going to be played in front and scored. Connor Garland on a rush play along the left side, and Vancouver takes an early 1-0 lead. Trying to play it back defensively, Matthew Joseph about toe-picked himself into the ice. And no shock, it's Quinn Hughes' 55th point of the year, and that's just an incredible pass. I mean, you could not really have asked Ryan Suter to do anything more on defense. Fully laid out, and it went just under the point of the boot on the top of the skate. It's Garland's 12th of the year from Hughes and Carson Soucy, and we have a fight. It's Braden Shen, and Shen won it convincingly. Was that Shen and Garland? No, it was Shen and Miller. Talk about guys that... Oh, and Miller's cut. Talk about guys that know each other well. JT Miller and Braden Shen, of course, former members of the Rangers and Flyers, respectively. Oh, yeah, Shen tagged him right on the bridge of the nose of the right cross. Ripped off the helmet. Miller went for a right. Hit the left shoulder pad of Shen more than anything. And Shen just dropped him with a pretty clean right. Brandon Shen still around in the NHL for being able to play the power forward style, and JT Miller, a two-way pest, as that faceoff is won by Vancouver and flicked out of play, as that one about caught Shen and the timekeeper that's in there. 3 minutes in, we have a great assist from Quinn Hughes, and we have a fight from Shen and Miller had to go off for repairs. Spectacular when hockey's like this. Beautiful. Face off to the right of Lankinen is won by the Blues. That one's going to be wristed by Perico, and that one's going to be held on with the glove. Good screen set by Jake Neighbors, but it wasn't enough to create any open space. Yeah, Miller didn't even try to go for the face. Like, it was immediately off the face-off after the goal by Garland, so Miller didn't even really try and go for it. Face-off take 2 to the glove side of Lankinen is won by the Blues again. Perico's going to chip it low. Buchnevich trying to play it out of the right wing corner. Falk, back across for Fowler. Wrister knocked down in front. Puck skipping around, but it can't find a stick until it hits the stick of Thomas at the right wing circle. Back for Fowler at the point. Save made by Lankinen despite getting almost bulldozed by Neighbors. It's either pretty much going to sit Jake Neighbors in front of the net and see how well that works. Yeah, sorry, part of the kicker is cut off. 2-on-2 for the Blues. Trying to curl and drag his way through everybody is Alexei Turpchenko, but he couldn't get a good wrist shot off. Blues starting to get a lot of the momentum. They let up the first goal, but they haven't let up pretty much anything of momentum since after the fight by Shen, and a big hit there at the line by Tucker. Tucker, I believe the son of John, the former Lightning member, went right in there towards Pius Suter. Ahead with it comes Brock Besser. Besser trying to wrist it around, and the Blues are able to give some reinforcement to Binnington. Pinching up and harassing on defense is Hughes. Going to be played to the left side by the Blues. In comes Zach Bolduc, looking for somebody to give it to in front, but he can't force it to Pius Suter. And it's just going to be flung corner to corner. With the speed is Hughes, but with the angle is Binnington. And play comes to a stop. Trying to mess with this and get it to actually look good. There we go. That looks slightly better. That looks much better. By the way, not much is happening. They're just pretty much batting the puck around the neutral zone now. Finally, the Canucks able to form some kind of attack with Brock Besser and Quinn Hughes chipping at the puck, but it's going to be cleared out by Matthew Joseph. The most fun kind of journeymen are the Joseph brothers, Matthew and Pierre Olivier. Is that wrist shot from Pius Suter is deflected into the tall netting and out of play off the stick of Radek Faksa. Very fun stories. Matthew and Pierre Olivier both played for the Ottawa Senators at different times. Matthew went there after playing in Tampa Bay. Pierre Olivier went to Pittsburgh after playing for them for a couple of months in Ottawa. And they both bounced around waivers quite a bit, and they almost ended up playing together for about a month this season before Pierre Olivier Joseph was put on waivers and claimed again by the Pittsburgh Penguins back in November. Face off to the right side of Binnington is fought for and eventually chopped away by Faksa. Trying to play offensively here is Teddy Bluger, speaking of former Penguins, but he can't get any room. Clearing attempt, and Jake DeBrusk can't follow up, as it looks like they're caught between line changes here are Vancouver. Chip and chase play and a hit by Toropchenko. It seems the Blues just want to throw their weight around, and after winning the fight, I don't blame them. Need something to get the crowd in this going on a Monday night. 6 minutes gone in the first period. In comes Robert Thomas, trying to curl and drag his way to Pavel Buchnevich, who comes falling, and a save made, but we will have a penalty for a trip, and believe as Buchnevich was trying to angle out of the corner. It's going to be Carson Soucy, the former Seattle Kraken, going to the penalty box. After this, Vancouver will be shorthanded. JT Miller has returned to the penalty box, at least for the time being, after the fight with Braden Shen. They still have a couple more minutes to serve in there. Penalty was Carson Soucy for tripping as the Blues look to play it in front, and that one will be covered by Lankinen. Jake Neighbor seems to be playing the Brian Rust, Joe Mullen role. Just play down low and play in close and make something happen with physicality. Even if it is a tic-tac-toe play, at least you're standing there in the slot and have the opportunity to make something happen. Fowler to Thomas, right wing circle. Neighbors had that one poked off his stick by Philip Roenick, former Red Wing. Thomas, right side, left side, save on Kyrou, made by Lankinen with the blocker. Players falling, slipping all over. Teddy Bluger able to get it out to center ice. Bluger, a very wise late off-season signing by Vancouver. Centering pass goes nowhere. Roenick and the Canucks have numbers. Roenick, rather, that is a return Tyler Myers. He was listed as a scrap. Okay, it's Vincent Desharnais that's all the lineup tonight for Vancouver. That one, I think, caught most by surprise. As the Blues try to go mid-line change here. Along the left side, shot from Foxa is gloved down. Justin Falk trying to make something happen at the right point. Jabbing it along for Cam Fowler. Nothing doing there. Thomas, Falk playing keep away, centering pass to Kyrou from the top of the slot. Nothing through the defense of blue. Or rather white, I guess in this case. Right side, Kyrou, half wall at the circle, now down to the goal line, trying to go low for Buchnevich. That one's going to be chopped all the way down. Give St. Louis time to make one more change with 15 seconds left. It means one more rush on the power play. In comes St. Louis. Brandon Saad poked off a stick. Falk across and a save made on Perico's one-timer. But the Blues still keeping the pressure on. Back to the right point. Falk with a wrist shot deflected Foxa wide of the net. That one off the back wall just under the stick of Myers. Vancouver kills off the penalty, and it will come just a little ways out for Elias Pettersson, the forward, and we'll explain that later, and Quinn Hughes to play keep away. Pettersson, Hughes playing keep away, looking for the home run. Pass was Hughes for Pettersson. Getting back there is Perico, but no icing. Yes, TJ Luxmore ruled that there was just enough distance for Perico to have been able to get it quickly. Speaking of quickly, here comes Pettersson, wing to wing. 2-on-2. That one backhanded on the net, and it will be pinched by Binnington off the backhander by Nils Höglander. The Super Swedes are back in a top-line form for the Vancouver Canucks instead of just being the old Sedin twins. It's Nils Höglander, Elias Pettersson, and Linus Karlsson. And yes, if I do say Elias Pettersson the forward, there's a reason. The new sixth defenseman for the Vancouver Canucks has played 2 games with the team, is also, right down the letter, named Elias Pettersson. Spent a couple of years in New York with the Islanders where they already had their own Sebastian Aho debate. Is they had Sebastian Aho the left winger and Sebastian Aho the left defenseman. Certainly not frustrating at all. Face off to the glove side of Binnington is won by the Blues and cleared up and with a high stick. And say it was Max Holloway of St. Louis that hit it with a high stick, so I believe it means this draw is going to come back out to center. It has been a magnificent 30 years for the St. Louis Blues in this building. A magnificent past decade against Vancouver, where they are 18-4-3 against the Canucks since 2015-16. Brock Besser, one of the reasons for that 3 category, has 2 overtime winners has an overtime and a shootout winner against the Blues in his career. Trying to make something happen. And it really seems like the defense is starting to tighten up for the Blues, but the last thing they need is a costly mistake from Binnington. They about had that with him playing it behind the net. Got knocked down by JT Miller. Besser, back to the point, wrist shot. Hughes, about knocked in by Perico. That would have been disastrous. Hughes is the Blues defense is all cattywampus, trying to play it left point, and that one caught by Binnington. Must be a frustrating shift for Jordan Binnington, who has a lot of Tom Barrasso-esque qualities to his play. Not just the dangerous play with the puck, but the propensity to bark defensive directions out to pretty much everybody. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. Colton Perico precedes him on this team by 3 years. And, of course, Cam Fowler was in the NHL a long while before Binnington was. He'll give you the direction that he feels you need, as Carson Soucy's shot wired high out of the net as we go halfway through this first period. Teddy Bluger, and it's just simple puck moving right now for Vancouver. It's just enough to work. Bluger down low behind the net, trying to chip it in front off a couple skates. Puck still loose. That one's going to be swept away by Ryan Suter, and it's going to be flipped out for Carson Soucy. Both Suters out there right now. Ryan 22 in blue, Pius 24 in white for Vancouver. Corner to corner, Jake DeBrusk with a great pick of Tucker, and that one's going to be blocked in front. The clearing almost stopped at the blue line like a curling shot. Did the clear from Thomas. Is that one still rolling in front as the Canucks are pretty much trying to force a pass at the top of the slot here that's just not coming their way. Roenick, high in the air, down it goes, and out comes Binnington, so no icing. Falk, back wall, here come the Blues. 3-on-3, back the other way, now 4-on-4. Here come full reinforcements. Thomas trying to play it for Buchnevich. He couldn't get it to sit down, the former New York Ranger. Pretty strong defensive play so far by Linus Karlsson. I mean, Karlsson's pretty much been heading up the forecheck on this first line for Vancouver early on. It's 1-0 Vancouver right now with 8:20 and change left in the first period. That one's going to go ahead, and it would have been offsides if the Canucks had touched it. So they pretty much have to force the Blues to play it, and Zach Bolduc tried to go 1-on-3. That didn't work. Bolduc, backhander for Joseph. Nothing there. Puck rolling free at the top of the slot down to the left wing where Perico will go get it. Perico and Soucy, two big defensemen, collide with one another. Back to the right of Lankinen, and that one's going to be head-man-to-head for JT Miller. Miller has to pause his momentum as he didn't have an angle to shoot. So back around it comes to the right point. It's blocked down. Faking the shot is a Derek Forbort. I forgot he was with Vancouver. Forbort having to hack it out of the air. Back behind the net. 4 players trying to pick away for one small disc. It's JT Miller that comes with it. Back to the right point. A wrist shot is going to be knocked down. Miller behind the net, still trying to find some way to force it to Danton Heinen. Carson Soucy, his half slappers aren't working. Wrist shot from Forbort, deflected wide. And if Forbort scores, it's a rarer occasion than Ken Danico scoring. Vancouver trying desperately to change bodies here. 7 minutes left in the first. A very good sustained attack. Couple of wrist shots from Miller couldn't go. Maybe now they can change lines. They do. Philip Roenick now out on defense. It was Roenick there the whole time, rather. Bluger trying to play it at the left wing circle. Half wall. Back to the point. A Vancouver player got chopped down in front. No call. Vancouver bench screaming murder as that one's going to be deflected out of play off the skate of Broberg. 6:43 left in the first. Still 1-0 Vancouver. Back in St. Louis with a face-off to the right side of Jordan Binnington, and that is won by the Blues. Connor Garland, it's his second game back after getting cross-checked on the side of the head by Connor McDavid, so that goal must feel really, really good right now for him. 6.5 minutes left. Back to play it is Carson Soucy. Soucy and Pavel Buchnevich went in for the puck at the same time, so no icing. By the way, Colton Perico, 119 and 120 in his blocked shots counter after that last flurry of opportunities for Vancouver. 4th most in the NHL for Perico. And I mean, that's somebody that really, those are the glue guys that were a big part of championship teams and even some teams that don't make it there. And that's really part of why Perico is so beloved in St. Louis. And part of the Stanley Cup team in 2019, he had the 3rd most block shots in the NHL that year, the most of anybody in the playoffs. I mean, he really laid it on the line. You need those kinds of guys to win it all. Ahead with it come the Blues. Around goes Kyrou, but he toe picks into the wall after Tyler Myers got a small chunk of him. Suter behind the net for Kyrou. Kyrou plays it to the left point. Tucker, wrister, went over Lankinen and over the net. Goes off the tall glass, and Vancouver able to knock it down. 5 minutes left here in the first period. It hasn't been eventful from an offensive perspective, but it has been physical and very defensive based. You'd expect, and that one is no goal. It was a hammered shot by Tyler Tucker, but immediately waved off by TJ Luxmore for goalie interference. Luxmore waved it off. Everybody convenes at the half circle in front of the penalty boxes. I really don't see how that's goalie interference on Dylan Holloway. From the angles I'm seeing, it's Quinn Hughes cross-checking Holloway into Lankinen. Now, I will say this. Holloway did enter the crease under his own accord, but he got cross-checked into Lankinen while trying to leave. So Rick Tocchet and the Vancouver Canucks might have just gotten a huge, huge break. Well, and we are going to get a challenge, I believe, from St. Louis about the call of goalie interference. This is an interesting situation. Yeah, I want to see Vancouver's broadcast. Like, I want to see if Sportsnet's saying anything about this, because the captions for St. Louis said nothing. They're at a commercial right now. And now the stream is dead. This is a crazy end of the period.
NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000 plus out-of-market games and so much.
Okay. You guys heard nothing. You guys heard nothing. You guys heard nothing. Event summary. That doesn't help. Trying to figure out what the deal is here. It was a coach's challenge on the goalie interference here. So, yeah, they did go to a break at a pretty inopportune time, let's face it here. The overhead's showing quite a bit of forced contact by Quinn Hughes, but here's the deal. With Holloway entering the side of the crease on his own, does the contact with Hughes matter? That's the real question, and we're going to get the judgment.
That there was goaltender interference. There is no goal.
No goal on the play. And even Sportsnet's confused about how that's not goalie interference. And I guess entering the crease one way means, again, we've had this confusion before. We've had this confusion way too much in the past with what is and isn't forcible contact versus forced contact. And not only does it cost St. Louis a goal, it sets up a power play for Vancouver as Dylan Holloway will serve the penalty. Face-off won by Vancouver. Immediately pinching low with it is Hughes, doing the carousel behind the net. Besser, left wing circle pass for Miller. Back for Besser in the middle. That one's knocked down by Colton Perico and cleared. Quinn Hughes is quite a bit of the Larry Murphy playmaking style to him. Is that ability to cover ground so quickly. It leaves other teams baffled, really. Right side, Vancouver playing wall to wall with it, point to point. Here comes Hughes to Miller. Back at the goal line. Great moves to get around Ryan Suter. Miller back for Hughes at the point. Miller right wing circle looking for Besser at the top of the slot. Save made. Rebound. Pettersson scored. It was chipped and poked in. Connor Garland's second of the night. And you can really, really sense the unhappiness of the Vancouver fans. Or with the St. Louis fans, rather, at that call. Yeah, Bennington just muffed it. Elias Pettersson makes no contact with them. It just moves free like a greased pig from outside the right pad of Bennington. And it's his second goal of the night on 2 shots for Connor Garland. 13th of the season. Brock Besser, JT Miller, the assists. Forbert and Hronik, and the boos cascading down for the goal announcement. You really don't hear that for a simple goal. Dylan Holloway trying to make up for that play, trying to muscle his way to the net. Philip Hronik and Holloway now a little bit of shoving away from the play as Teddy Bluger tries to go up ice for Vancouver. Doesn't really amount to much more than that, and Bluger about got a return to sender from Holloway. Perico playing it for Neighbors. That one goes off his stick, and a big shot from Garland looking for the natural hat trick in the first period. That'd be a first. Garland has it again. Rister fanned on it. Stabbed away by Perico. 3 minutes left in the first period. Point to point. Myers for Soucy. Soucy looked for Garland. And Garland, this might be his night. This might be his night. We saw it with Sidney Crosby against Philadelphia last month. They're just players that have nights where they can see everything happening before you even know or even have an inkling. Colton Parayko, Robert Thomas trying to get it out of St. Louis's own end. Defenseman to defenseman. Quinn Hughes had to roll off his stick, and now Hughes has to play defense. Trying to storm in is Bolduc. Bolduc looking for Joseph, and that one's going to be stolen by Tyler Myers. Joseph had an open net to the blocker's side of Lankinen. If that pass hit its receiver. Hughes looking. Bolduc doing everything to keep Hughes from being able to pass it at least vertically. Doesn't mean he can't pass it horizontally and let Myers do the rest of the work, which he does. Myers ahead. Besser shot, save Bennington, and he had to have a little more help from Tucker to keep it out. Minute 40 left. Tucker pretty much playing hard-nosed physical defense behind the net for St. Louis. Vancouver looking for a perimeter shot. Besser and Miller playing keep away to the right of Binnington. And it'll be taken away by St. Louis. Brandon Saad with a really good job to kill time off the clock and let his four line mates get off the ice. Flying in was Höglander looking for somebody to leave it for, and he finds that somebody in Teddy Bluger. Bluger around to the right point. That one's going to be blocked in front by Justin Falk, who's pretty much stationary in front of Binnington when playing defensively. Point to point, Elias Pettersson, the defenseman, took a wrister. That one went behind the net, and it will be held on the bounce back by Binnington with 43 seconds left, and a rugby scrum develops. Alexei Toropchenko in the middle of that. Brock Besser and Connor Garland with a couple of really quality chances. And Jordan Binnington had pretty much the same thing happen on a wrister by Besser as he had happened for Garland's second goal. And if it wasn't for Tucker batting it away with the backhand, there's a decent chance that puck rolls through. Face off, won by Bluger to the glove side of Binnington. Back behind the net, trying to play it is Garland. And Garland, I mean, yeah, he looks like he's having one of those high motor nights on offense. Look out for him. Right side, Braden Chen trying to chip it out defensively. He does, but it rolls to open ice for Hughes with a shot and a glove save by Binnington with 19.4 left in the first. Best part of Jeremy Boyer, you don't know which song he's going to play. A lot like the organist for the Boston Bruins. You don't know what song he's going to play, as right now he's playing a Rush Smorgasbord to end this first period. Played Tom Sawyer and ended up going into the camera eye as that one's going to be batted in the air by Jake Neighbors. 10 seconds left. Maybe one last rush for St. Louis, although Vancouver swarmed Thomas with 6, and that'll bring an end to the first period of play. They were even in shots at 4 until one strong rush with about 6 minutes left for Vancouver. It has been all Canucks since. 2-0 Vancouver, the first intermission. Hey, Mikey. I'm sorry, I was away doing things. And yes, indeed, butts. As we're about ready to start period number 2. The first period, stats 12-4 in terms of shots in favor of Vancouver. And yes, there are a whole lot of butts. A whole lot of butts and a whole lot of beats, and I think we might have a coach ejection. Ah!
Ford's only one. I mean, that's not a great sign.
Anyway, second period underway. I'll almost certainly have to get an update about what happened to the coach there, because they were just, I don't know if it's the camera work of St. Louis being terrible or what, as that one's going to be chopped in front with no play really being made there by Linus Karlsson. And there would be some reason for St. Louis to not exactly be happy with the officiating. That being a goaltender interference call on a play where, again, I'm still trying to figure out where the goaltender interference was. St. Louis, after playing chip, chase, and keep away with Vancouver, trying to make an exit strategy, but instead it's taken by Connor Garland, drop passer Ronick, and a save made by Binnington. Fitting that Philip Hronek is playing in St. Louis on the 30th anniversary of what was initially christened the Kiel Center, considering some of the spirited battles Jeremy Hronek had in this building. 3-on-3 for Vancouver. Pass for JT Miller doesn't find its receiver thanks to Colton Perico. Brock Besser looking for a shot in the slot. It'll be chopped away by Jake Neighbors. Perico for Buchnevich, who tries to knife his way through everybody, instead has it come to Robert Thomas, who couldn't get a shot away. Solid defensive play by Tyler Myers to keep Thomas from getting an open look in the slot. Myers trying to drag it along for Jordan Kyrou, but no one in blue would find it. Chipped in by Vancouver with the angle is Nils Höglander. Höglander back to the point, wrist shot, Susie deflected. Höglander with an open net, couldn't get the puck to sit enough really to do anything with it at the side of the net. 2-on-2, Braden Shen back the other way. His pass gets popped up into the air. Has Garland scored a pinfall yet? Well, he scored a 2 count. Connor Garland has scored a 2 count as that pass goes out of play from Justin Falk. He has indeed scored a 2 count, Mikey. Yeah, Connor Garland, 1 goal away from a natural hat trick. And did a little bit of digging. Doing a little bit of digging right now. The former Arizona Coyote member has 1 career hat trick before, and it was against Arizona with Vancouver, having 3 goals in a 5-4 win back in April of 2023. The Moncton Wildcat product. And yes, I believe he is an alternate as a part of the Four Nations team for Team USA. Is Garland. Jordan Kyrou is a part of that team. He's been much bandied about as the best part of this Blues organization for a couple of years now after Tarasenko left for first the Rangers, now Florida. Vancouver trying to find some way to get an offensive play to work. They have had, well, before that shot from Kyrou, they had the last 9 shots in a row. And it's mainly due to the puck movement of that man, Quinn Hughes. up the left wing wall, just dancing and twirling and able to just kill the clock with a 2-goal lead. That's very effective. Tucker, who thought he had a goal earlier, said it would be taken away, clears it, but it went at slow enough speed for there to not be icing, so St. Louis is able to get Dylan Holloway, who served the penalty for the missed coach's challenge. And his pass was knocked down at center and cleared out by Vancouver. Another home run pass attempt knocked down at center. That one from Cam Fowler. Hugh Suter centering past Garland. Save made. Still loose. Wide. Garland was looking, again, a natural hat trick watch for Connor Garland. And, Tyler Myers came back. Tyler Myers is back off the suspended list tonight. I thought he was still scratched. My mistake. Off the list in his place is Vincent Desharnais. Walker trying to strip Carson Soucy of the puck on a forecheck here. Great play on the defenseman Elias Pettersson by Brandon Saad. Saad to Fowler. Fowler point-to-point playing keep away with Philip Broberg. Fowler to, I believe that was Bolduc, who was falling trying to get a shot away. But the puck did not have eyes there and instead hit the knee of Carson Soucy, who would guide it to center and gain the red. Resetting, looking to play is Cam Fowler, waiting for the rest of his line mates to change it. Now they do. Pass for Jake Neighbors underneath his stick, but it was deflected on the way. Nothing. Yeah, McDavid and Myers got 3 games for what happened. It's just that Vancouver's already played 3 games. Sharp angle wrister goes wide of the net on the blocker side of Binnington, who is completely screened as one last flailing attempt at a wrister didn't find its path. Thomas goes ahead for Neighbors, who takes a hit from Hronek. And that one's going to spring what would have been a 2-on-2 had Vancouver gotten a more efficient change. Linus Karlsson off the bench. That's going to call the first line, I believe. Super Swede scoring line for Vancouver as that one's turned in front for Karlsson, but he fanned on it twice before Binnington covered. Already 5.5 minutes into this second period. Much more defensive. But again, said that about the first half of the first period, and then Vancouver suddenly fired on all cylinders offensively. Yeah, good defensive playing there by Ryan Suter to keep Karlsson from being able to have an open opportunity. 30 years of the Kiel Center, some of the goaltenders in franchise's history here were honored at the break. Not just Binnington, but Jake Allen, Brian Elliott, Curtis Joseph, John Casey, and Roman Turek amongst those honored at the break. Yeah, Roman Turek. Bet you haven't heard that name in a long time, as Falk had a one-timer in the slot that just went wide the net. Lankinen was flopping around trying to find his footing. Down below the goal line with it. Matthew Joseph looking in front. Falk with a half shot. That one didn't go. Right wing circle in front for Alexei Toropchenko, and that one's going to be kicked away with the left pad by Lankinen. Went off his pad with such recoil that it sent Cam Fowler back about 80% of the way down the ice. Fowler for Joseph again. Joseph looking for one, and that one's going to be stopped by Lankinen, who saw every move. Back behind the net, trying to force a pass was Holloway. Couldn't get it to stick. Braden Shen pivoting at the goal line. Centering pass for Kyrou. Deflected into the air and eventually chopped down amidst a flurry of stick lifts by Vancouver for icing. There's Tyler Tucker back there, and mentioned it earlier. I just have to mention again, Jeremy Boyer makes these games worthwhile, even if they're blowouts. Blister in the Sun being played now. He played Tom Sawyer, the camera eye, played Orion earlier. At least sounded during the pregame skate. He was playing some Metallica on the organ, which that is what Metallica was missing, ye old rock organ. at the left point, knocking it down is Ryan Suter for St. Louis. Backhanded along the right wing wall by Braden Shen. It goes off a stick of a Vancouver defenseman and down the ice. Tyler Tucker looking for Dylan Holloway. Goes underneath his stick. So St. Louis has to reset. Robert Thomas dropping for Ryan Suter and trying to go for the angle. There was Tucker for Thomas. And it's going to be a tripping call here. I believe it was Hughes that went belly up after going in with Robert Thomas for that puck. Thomas doesn't agree with it, but it got called anyways. 2 minutes for tripping. Vancouver will have the man advantage after this. 12:42 left in the second period. Still 2-0 Vancouver. Amidst the ads, some rather unexpected news to pass along. At the age of 67, former NASCAR on ESPN pit reporter and NBC pit reporter and lap-by-lap analyst, as well as TNT, Bill Weber has passed away at the age of 67. Weber, over 20 years in motorsports between IndyCar/kart, NASCAR, NHRA, and yes, even the X Games. He did the Summer X Games a couple times with John Beekes and Paul Page. Was a very welcome member of the ESPN and NBC Sports and Turner Sports families. After the Thomas trip, we're back to hockey in St. Louis as a couple perimeter shots don't really go anywhere. Vancouver had one power play on a delay of game penalty. It resulted in Connor Garland's second goal of the night. Garland is out there now. Back to the right point will be played by Elias Pettersson, and a save made, and Garland got a little close and got a swipe from Jordan Binnington. Yeah, it's a badge of honor. Oh yeah, that's why Binnington and Holloway got into Garland got into a little chop fight. Yeah, that explains it. Apparently, about 10 seconds beforehand, Garland got a left from Binnington. Oh, am I coming in crunchy at all? Anyways, Pettersson, Garland, Miller, drifting, left wing wall. Looking to go into the center. Besser trying to force it to Garland. Instead, it was knocked down and cleared by Philip Broberg. Vancouver's already made it farther in this penalty kill than they did the first time, but it brings a breakaway and a goal! JT Miller, a home run pass, and it hit its recipient, and it is 3-0 Vancouver. Tyler Tucker, yeah, it was a fire sale line change. That explains why the only player in blue back there was Braden Shen. Everybody else was on the bench. Broberg tried to abort it quickly, and Bennington, I don't think he ever saw it. Quinn Hughes, JT Miller. Hughes with his second assist of the night, and Miller's 9th goal of the year. And that calls to an end the night for Jordan Bennington. It is Joel Hofer. And taking a look, Hofer 10-5-1 on the season with a .906 save percentage and .277 goals against, coming off a loss against Vegas on the 23rd. And this is really Jim Montgomery trying to stir something up with the St. Louis Blues here. Big hit. And now this might be what he was trying to stir up, is just throw the weight around as Jordan Kyrou laid into one of the players for Vancouver who was going back to play the puck. Suter, Falk, end around for Shen. Shen trying his best to clear it to the left wing side as we approach the midway point of this game. Falk back, looking for anyone to go to. Instead, it's Pius Suter with it for Vancouver. Centering pass went nowhere. And Dylan Holloway, sorry, that's a UFC fighter, tripped to center by Tyler Myers. And it's going to be a power play for St. Louis. There we go. That might help things. Now I won't be blasting the entire microphone into orbit whenever I have to call a goal. 10:44 left. It's going to be a penalty to Myers. 2 minutes for tripping. And if there was ever a time for St. Louis to get a power play goal, it would be now. Robert Thomas, Brandon Saad, Pavel Buchnevich, Radek Fox are the 4 forwards with Cam Fowler on defense. Face-off won by Foxa. It's going to be Fowler at the left point. It's a 1-3-1 setup with Thomas at the left side. Thomas still waiting, going for Saad in the middle and trying to force the pass out of taking the outside shot. Pretty much got them in trouble. It's Teddy Bluger, Elias Pettersson, the forward, Derek Forbort, and Elias Pettersson, the defenseman. Now that Myers is in the box. Make heads or tails of that. Both Petterssons out there for Vancouver right now. Fowler, Thomas in front. That one's going to be shouldered by Lankinen, out of play. Kyrou, Shen, Neighbors, Holloway, Falk, the 5 out there now for St. Louis. They have to contend with Pius Suter, Danton Heinen, Carson Soucy, and Philip Roenick. Neighbors, right wing side. At the point is Holloway. Neighbors and Holloway roving along the right side boards. Holloway halfway. Now for Falk at the point. Falk has to go somewhere. Holloway one-timer shot. Scored! .92 miles an hour, 92.6, and it was wired by Dylan Holloway, who has been looking for that shot all night. He's been looking for it since getting the first goal called back for goalie interference. And Jake Neighbors with a moving screen. Lankinen never saw it. And don't look now, St. Louis has life. Face off, won by St. Louis. They play chip and chase and force Lankinen to play the puck, and Myers to play it too. I don't know which one's more costly. That one goes off the skate of a defenseman into the air, off of Hughes and into the air. Broberg at the right point with it. Drop pass. Goes off a stick and back the other way. Almost sprang a 2-on-1. Tucker having to play close. Hughes. Myers, sharp angle, save Hofer, rebound to Brutsk, didn't get the stick down. Falk and Neighbors assisting on the goal. In comes Persson with a sharp snapper and a glove save. And trying to bust his way in was Nils Höglander, and the Blues don't take too kindly to that. Sometimes you need the man advantage to get on the board. Sometimes you need it to get the ball rolling. 3-1 Vancouver. .903 left in the second period, and Dylan Holloway and Justin Falk playing a game of one-sided keep away, and it led to a picture-perfect one-timer. 93 minutes without a goal as a team for the Blues until that shot went in. That must have felt sweet, sweet. In comes Robert Thomas, and again, it takes a couple plays like that to get the ball rolling again offensively for a team in that long a cold snap. Behind the net on his knees trying to make a play to Buchnevich was Thomas. They got knocked away by Philip Roenick. And ahead and down by Nils Höglander, forcing Cam Fowler to reset. Perico goes for the home run pass to Buchnevich. Neighbors, wrist shot. That one off a crossbar. It went high off the crossbar. Fans want to call as Thomas got dumped. Thomas is still down. Thomas is hurt. Robert Thomas is hurt for St. Louis. It took him a while to get back up, and he is laboring getting back to the bench. Fans want a stoppage of play. They don't get it. Fans wanted a penalty. They didn't get it. Chippy game in Missouri tonight as that one goes into the Vancouver bench. And now we have a conference. And we get a call. Double minor for Höglander for high sticking. A review to see whether or not it is match penalty worthy. Oh, yeah, Höglander got up with the stick on that play. And Höglander's been flying around most of this game. And yeah, a very good shot of Thomas trying to draw blood for the inside of his lip, and I think he did because he does with a towel in his mouth right now. There's quite a bit of red on it. So there's, at minimum, 4.
After review, the call on the ice is confirmed. Vancouver, number 21, 4 minutes, double minor, high sticking.
Yep, 4 minutes, not 5. And it's going to be a power play for Vancouver. For those new to, or a power play for St. Louis, rather. For those new to hockey, here's how it works. The first 2 minutes, if St. Louis scores, it immediately starts the second 2 minutes. They're each treated as their own penalty, but it still results in a 5-on-4. And it was a high play. I thought initially it was a high hit on Thomas, and Jim Montgomery thought the same. He wanted an explanation as to why it was 4 for high sticking and not 4 or possibly 5 for interference. And he got the discussion again from TJ Luxmore, the head of this crew tonight. And we have a rut in front of the officials' box. St. Louis snapped a 93-minute scoreless streak last time they were on the power play. And it's the same 5 out there now. If it isn't broke, why fix it? Holloway, Neighbors, Shen, Kyrou, Falk for St. Louis. Face off to the right, and it's Bluger's penalty kill unit as Bluger fights for the draw. And it is cleared by Derek Forbort. O'Farrell to go to play. That one about very costly as Bluger about stole that one from Kyrou. Falk back for Shen. Looks for Neighbors. 3-on-2. Neighbors across. Holloway waiting. Had no angle to shoot. Right side. And great perimeter defense here by Vancouver. Neighbors has it now. Tried to force it to Holloway. Instead, it's taken by Bluger, the former Pittsburgh Penguin, and chipped out. Justin Falk, Braden Shen. Shen off the leg of Connor Garland. And Garland would sure love to kill the momentum now with the goal. Kyrou looking, still rolling for Shen. Left wing circle. Shen just shy of the dot. Kyrou at the dot now. Goes a little further past it with a wrist shot. Save, rebound. Shen still loose. Nobody could corral it. Eventually Susie does. And pitchforks it for the clear. And that's going to spring a 2-on-2. Here comes Garland with a shot and a save by Hofer. Vancouver, at least it looks right now, is a good chance of getting through the first 2 minutes. But there's still 35 seconds left on those. Trying to drag it around is Holloway, and that's going to be costly. And breakaway for Vancouver. Scored! Pius Suter. A shorthanded goal. And it is 4-1 Vancouver. Dylan Holloway tried to get fancy amidst the line change, and that makes now 2 goals where St. Louis was mid-line change, and it creates the entire opportunity for Vancouver. For Dylan Holloway, just play keep away at center. Play keep away at center and wait for there to be the opportunity to get new legs on the ice. He used Suter's 12th of the year from Tyler Myers. Back, Brandon Saad, as the first penalty of the double minor is over. So from here on out, it acts like a normal power play. Brandon Saad, right side, back for Cam Fowler. Fowler, nowhere to shoot. The perimeter defense doing a lot as Buchnevich fanned on the pass attempt for Faksa. Thomas, Fowler, Buchnevich. They'll try again with a slapper. Save made. Puck still loose and eventually covered by Lankinen, even though the puck came free for Hronek. And even Lankinen's probably the only guy that's breathing the sigh of relief because rather Myers, not Hronek, came free with the puck. .139 left on the power play, 5:37 left in the second period. Face-off won by the Blues. Fowler, one-timer, Tucker blocked in front. Saad off the post! Oh, man. That was a golden opportunity for Saad. Just couldn't cash in. Barely onside as Fowler. Bolduc. Puck just skipping everywhere. Matthew Joseph. Left wing side. Looking, has Fowler at the point. Fowler with a wrister deflected on its way. That one wide of the net. Neighbors. Puck still free. It'll be cleared on one knee by Vancouver. Jim Montgomery just throwing stuff at the wall. See if any of it sticks. You're down 3 again. Just need something to go your way here. Garland clears it. Hofer behind the net. Almost reading him with Suter. Bolduc going for Thomas. Didn't have enough juice on it. So the Blues have to reset again to the apathy of the crowd, who are, their silence speaks volumes. Let's say that about this power play. Back to the point for Thomas. Thomas for Falk at the point. Thomas, right side, pivots again, trying to find somewhere to go, or at least maybe just to shake off Suter. Wrist shot kicked away by Lankinen with the left pad. 10 seconds left on the power play. Falk to Saad, high and wide. One last chance for Colton Perico. He doesn't take the shot. Thomas, as the power play comes to an end, setting up for Falk. That one blocked in front. 91 miles an hour on the dot. And free with it, almost free with it, was Höglander after serving his high sticking penalty. And that more than the goalie interference call in the first might be your backbreaker for St. Louis. A double minor, a chance to tie the game up, really, if all goes right. Not only do you hit the crossbar twice, as that wrister is blocked in front from Toropchenko, not only do you hit the crossbar twice in the face of the post another time, but you also let up a shorthanded goal of your own. Broberg trying to whack it around for Radek Faksa. Nothing going there. So Ryan Suter has to corral it in an emergency. Now tries to play drive himself. I haven't seen that much hustle from him since he was, in Nashville. Suter, left wing, trying to leave it there for Joseph. Nothing working. And now you about it a soccer, almost a slide tackle between Holloway and Joseph, two teammates. Allows Vancouver to have an opportunity, except for one issue. Nils Höglander was offsides. Double minor power play. It backfired. 2:42 left in the second period. 4-1 Vancouver. Well, the Blues are trying to use Freebird to get the crowd back into this game. 4-1 Vancouver, and they've had the lion's share of the offense and the lion's share of the odd man rushes. It's really made the difference tonight. Miller, Suter, each have a goal. Garland has a pair for Vancouver. Lone goal from Dylan Holloway for the Blues, as that pass in the slot was batted away by Cam Fowler. Holloway almost made it a 2-on-2 there. Soucy taken into the boards by Holloway. Braden Shen chops it back for Colton Perico. Had a little trouble with the puck. Jordan Kyrou with the wrister. Save made. Puck still loose. Rebound. Covered up by Lankinen. So we had Freebird, and then we followed it up with an organ version of Gangsta's Paradise. Again, even when it's a game like this and it's starting to become uncompetitive, Jeremy Boyer can still find a way to make it fun. Bluger and Thomas in the face-off circle with one another. And again, this is going to help Vancouver to make up some ground in the wild card, and we'll go more into that in the intermission as a junk play off the draw. Lankinen had to do most of everything in his power to keep it from going in. Thomas moving it around, and there is a Canucks player hurt. It's Myers. It's Tyler Myers. And he can barely move. Still laboring as he's trying to move throughout the defensive zone. Garland, right side. They might not need Myers. Save made by Hofer. Elias Pettersson with a snapshot. It was 5-on-4 for St. Louis, and Vancouver about scored. That's pretty much the epitome of this game as we near the end of the first period, or the second period, with 1 minute left. Bolduc for Walker. Bolduc playing with it again. Bolduc centering in front for Saad. Couldn't slam it home. Broberg, one-timer. Bolduc, that one blocked. 40 seconds left and a big hit on Saad, but kept the puck alive to Philip Broberg. Broberg, Ryan Suter towing the goal line, 30 seconds left. Didn't have much more room to go, so Vancouver is able to take the puck away. Bolduc for Broberg, looking for Saad. Nobody there to deflect it ahead for Vancouver. And it'll be turnstile around by Forbert as Vancouver will pretty much kill the clock to end the second period. Although they did try one home run pass for Garland, who got very quickly shunted off the puck by Jordan Thomas, and that will end the second period. We'll have the wild card standings and the upcoming schedules during the second intermission. That one's going to be played around the back of the net by Vancouver. It's been all Vancouver Canucks to this point in the game. And a little bit of an issue there is the turning shot went wide of the net. Jake Neighbors was there hunting for the rebound. Very strong play by Matthew Joseph. He's been around the net, but hasn't really been in a prime position yet tonight. I'm just now realizing my microphone was muted during the intermission. Should Vancouver not collapse like a house of cards, Vancouver would be 1 point out of the Western Conference wildcard after tonight is a centering pass for Brock Besser gets jabbed away. 22 shots to 18 in favor of Vancouver after 2 periods, by the way. 4-1 Vancouver. And at the end of the game, we'll have the scoring summary, the penalty summary. We'll have all the summaries, as well as looks at the rest of the games going on tonight, although that should be at the bottom of your screen. Braden Shen back to the right point. Perico just lets one go, and that one goes wide of everything. Really, the power play execution is where the difference is tonight, as St. Louis is 1 for 4 compared to Vancouver being 2 for 2. A little bit of AC/DC by Jeremy Boyer to get what's left of the crowd back into the game. Attendance through the turnstiles tonight was 17,598. Face-off won by Vancouver. Will be played around the back of the net. Still free with an open net, and a great save by Hofer to recover. He was out of the crease. He was able to get back over and keep Nils Höglander from scoring. And he's somebody that's been around the net a lot tonight. Took a 4-minute high sticking penalty earlier in the night. And a shorthanded goal from Vancouver on that penalty kill seems really to have taken the life out of the St. Louis Blues, who finally broke through on their first power play of the evening. Sorry, they had their first full power play of the evening to break their 90-plus minute scoreless streak. And Elias Pettersson with the wrist shot, a good tip by Linus Karlsson, and a great save by Joel Hofer. And for those wondering, or coming in late, Jordan Binnington did start the game and was pulled after the third goal of the night for Vancouver, a breakaway goal by Brock Besser. Sorry, by JT Miller. Yeah, the broadcast erroneously had Besser up there. Philip Hronek, the former Red Wing, lays that one out to the opposing blue line. But no offense was there. Blues off the rest of the work week until Friday when they have to play the Avalanche in Denver. And St. Louis off, or rather Vancouver off until Wednesday. Myers trying to play it for Vancouver. I'm more or less relying on the digital ads to keep me up at this point. Hughes pivoting away with a wrist shot that goes nowhere. Nathan Walker and St. Louis trying to play with too much fine-tuning and not enough urgency. Quinn Hughes, we're already almost 4 minutes into the third period. He's going to pass that one ahead, but it's going to be knocked down. In comes Neighbors, or rather Trupchenko trying to backhand it. Nothing going there. Vancouver 1-on-4. At least that kills some time from Pius Suter. This one's going to be thrown up the middle. Nothing fancy, just get the puck down there. maybe good things will happen. Matthew Joseph trying to negotiate some ice for himself. Nothing working there. Foxa back ahead for Joseph. Pretty much shadowed into the boards on the right side and still comes out with it. Still moving. Great play for Parayko down low. That one's still rolling. Scored! Alexei Toropchenko deflected that one in. It's 4-2. See, Parayko, the overhead shot will be a good look at it. Oh no, Toropchenko never hit it. That's going to be Parayko's goal. It went off the defenseman, Elias Pettersson. And into the net. You'll take the pinball plays at moments like these if you're the St. Louis Blues. Fowler back to play it off the face-off for St. Louis. They played in their own end, and it'll wind around the end wall. It'll be hacked ahead by Di Giuseppe. Bluger trying desperately to stay onside. Instead, forces Hofer to play the puck. Parayko, who will get the goal, his 11th of the year from Joseph. And he was due for a point the way he's been playing tonight. Matthew Joseph. Neighbors trying to bring it ahead. Instead, it's going to be batted away. Suter trying desperately to spring Jake DeBrusk. That didn't work. White jerseys all around, so Hofer has to ramp it up the wall. Garland with a wrist shot, knocked down. At the feet of DeBrusk, it was batted away by Cam Fowler. Parayko trying to do one last little bit before getting off the ice. And that bit was to clear it, and he had assistance from Kyrou in that task. Falk for Tyler Tucker. Tucker lays it in. Back behind the net for Vancouver. That one's going to be knocked down. Hughes behind the net with it. Looks to go up the right wing side. Went for Besser. Now it's a three-player piece as the puck rolls. Somehow rolled off the boot of a Canuck and into the Vancouver bench. Four-two game, 14-10 left here in the third. Soucy tried to go ahead for Besser. Good reverse hit there by Tucker at center ice. I think that was Dan Heinen he caught. Heinen off the wall. Miller trying to get a step on Falk. Falk didn't allow that. And Miller's career until this move has been spent in the same division with Falk. Thomas, back into the middle. Buchnevich to the wrister. Lankinen never saw where it went. Very lucky that missed the net. Head pass for Garland. Or, not Garland, Carlson. Didn't quite hit. This one's going to be brought ahead by the Blues. And Brandon Saad trying to knife his way through the defense like he was back in Columbus. Wrist shot went wide from Bolduc. Saad trying everything to play Hughes aggressively on the forecheck, as Bolduc does with Myers. And it'll be ramped up and out of the defensive zone for Vancouver, but only for a brief moment. Brandon Saad trying desperately to stay onside. As Nathan Walker, good reverse hit there by Bolduc. Vancouver is trying a little too hard to get physical here late in the game, and the Blues are ready for it. It was a chippy second period. And, again, all but precipitated after Vancouver's opening goal. There was a fight between JT Miller and Braden Shen, and Miller was cut underneath the right eye. Still a little fight left in these St. Louis Blues. There's a very late icing call in the race between Radek Faksa and Carson Soucy with 12:27 left in the third. You know, if Jack in the Box has those kinds of deals, I need to see if there's one near me. Yes. Canucks up 4-2 with 12:27 left in the third. Face off, won by Vancouver. Boo. Tell me there's none in Ohio? Oh, well. Suter, wall to wall. DeBrusque in with Fowler, and it was Garland that took a big shot from Perico. And Perico's been playing with the most hustle. Mentioned earlier in the game, Perico leads the team and is fourth in the NHL in shots blocked. So, yeah, it's not like he's not used to this deal. JT Miller offsides, and that gives us a break. Third period's gone by with breakneck pace. Goals by defenseman is a big deal. St. Louis is seventh in the league right now in terms of those. Sorry for the crosstalk. I believe it had done better with that. Back behind the net, playing it is Fowler. And by the way, 26 to this point in the season. They already have 3 more than they did last year. Miller, couple blocked passes there. Right side is Braden Shed as we almost hit 11 minutes left. Perico dangling, doing all he can, and a save by Lankinen. 11 minutes left in regulation time. 4-2 Vancouver. Thomas and Fowler playing keep away. Fowler to the left side. Bringing it in hallway for Buchnevich, and a stick save by Lankinen. Myers, Neighbors behind the net. Battling for the puck. It's Myers that comes out with it, and Quinn Hughes will try to spring a rush along the right side of the ice. That ends up going nowhere fast. Hughes down low. Stick lift by Falk. Tyler Tucker back there. Thomas, who really needs to get off the ice here, finally has the opportunity to. Justin Falk, halfway through the third period here. Tucker going to left side. That one almost a dangerous play for the Blues. Instead, could be advantageous for Vancouver. As here comes Elias Pettersson. Pettersson tries to go corner to corner, play a turnbuckle bounce. Nothing doing there as Roddick Fox got back defensively. Pettersson, the defenseman, stripped. Save by Lankinen. Matthew Olivier already has an assist. I don't think he's content with that after all, which NHL players are. So I do know the difference now. Elias is the center, Elias is the defenseman. Doesn't matter now as Jordan Kyrou has the puck and left it for Holloway, who couldn't get there in time. Teddy Bluger in with it. Bluger for DG Giuseppe and a save made by Hofer with 9:08 left in the third. One last stoppage. The Blues with the late push. Can they break through? So, problems. Technical problems. I might have to end the stream early. This is the worst possible time for ESPN to completely. Yeah, it's. ESPN falling apart in my hands. Yep, nope, it's ESPN crashed. This is the worst. The worst possible timing. There we go. VPN Canada for the win. Finally fixed this. 7.5 minutes left. 4-2 Vancouver. Face-off won by the Canucks. Pettersson behind the net with it. Höglander back to the point. Soucy caught by Hofer. And Jordan Kyrou is hurt. See what it is. Oh, yeah, Forbert caught him on the follow-through. That was a good camera angle there. Face off, won by the Canucks again. That one to the right side of Hofer. Behind the net, Pettersson, Broberg all over him. Höglander missed the net. Carlson lays it back for Hughes. Hughes back for Pettersson. Across for Carlson again. Missed the net. And it went to the back wall. Yeah, and it hit the netting. Face-off won by St. Louis. Nate Walker was able to throw that one ahead. Finally, for once, St. Louis able to get headway here in these previous 3 minutes of play. But it might not be for long as Derek Forbert just chips it high into the air. Tyler Tucker and Phil DiGiuseppe about guided that one for what would have been a rather embarrassing goal to have given up for Joel Hofer. Justin Falk behind the net, 6.5 minutes left here in the third period. 4-2 Vancouver. 2 goals from Connor Garland back in the first, really making all the difference. Walker, wrister from the point, and Brandon Saad looked for some way to get some space, but couldn't manage it. Thomas trying to squeeze up the right side to cut the 2-goal lead down to 1. I mean, St. Louis has been back and forth, up and down in terms of their offensive energy tonight. And that inconsistency right now is really what's costing them. They can't execute when they want. And they're taking the lucky bounces. And there's only so many lucky bounces you can get in a game. Really that simple. Myers behind the net. Still trying to find some way. And Myers, by the way, Kyrou being over on the bench after the high stick. Not an isolated incident tonight by any means. 4th or 5th different player that's been completely hunched while going to the bench, and Hofer playing a really good pick for Perico to get the puck. 5:10 left in the third period. Vancouver's trying to suffocate the clock. They've done a spectacular job of that here late. Centering pass from DeBrusque goes nowhere. Buchnevich just a little too hard. Holloway now has to chip around Carson Soucy instead of taking a possible shooting angle. Right wing half wall is Broberg. Philip Broberg trying to keep the play alive, goes to the point, and the one-timer attempt by Kyrou, his stick exploded. Holloway shot, kick saved by Lankinen, and he had issues with Braden Shen trying to back himself into his own net. It'll be cleared for icing with 4:29 left in the third. That's the best chance St. Louis has had in a while. Joel Hofer, and with 4:29 left, Hofer's already going to be on the bench. So we're going to have an empty net situation for St. Louis with 4.5 minutes to play. Montgomery known for being rather unconventionally aggressive with this. Hoping it works. After all, they do have a power play marker on the night. Perico for Thomas at the left wing. Perico at the point lets it go, and that one blocked. Neighbors. Thomas playing keep away. Thomas in front. Shen had an open chance, and he fanned on it. He has to try and chop it for Buchnevich. Trying to sit on the puck there was Bluger. Rather, yeah, it was Bluger. And that one will be cleared wide of the net. And icing on Carson Soucy, who's hopping to the bench. Quite literally hopping on his left leg to the bench. Perico wound it up, and ooh, that's not because of an injury. The one-timer shot from Perico quite literally hit the quick trigger release for the right skate blade of Soucy. I've seen it a couple times, but not in quite a few years. Face off one by one. That's Soucy's second block of the game. Vancouver trying to find some way to exit the zone, but they can't for now. Fowler around for Holloway. He didn't have an angle to shoot it, so he plays back and forth at the point with Fowler. Wrist shot wide of the net, still loose. Perico, left side. Back to the point, playing tape to tape with Fowler. Wrist shot deflected wide of the net. Trying to hammer it back down the ice are the Canucks. That one's wide. Back is Fowler, icing with 3:19 to go. It was Garland, who again, that second career hat trick. It has looked very appealing. $3.19, and Vancouver's doing all they can to buy some time to get their guys some gas, because it's the burden of 6-on-5, and especially with the icing, because it's an empty net, not a power play. You can't just clear the puck and get everybody off the ice. Perico and Kyrou knocking down multiple attempts. The puck goes up and out of play with 3 minutes left in regulation time. I honestly like that in the US you can watch the Prime Video games. The St. Louis Arena, 1929 when it opened, was the second largest arena in North America behind only the original Madison Square Garden. However, it was not to last, especially in 1994 with the erection of the Kiel Center. In 1996, it was imploded and it was turned into a condominium living complex. How cool would that be? Quite frankly, if you were a hockey fan and you lived there, knowing it was a site of quite a few famous games in St. Louis history and some of the best playoff series. Like, yeah, I know the Blues didn't really win many playoff occasions there, but that would be kind of cool. A lot like the condos being made out of a couple old minor league parks in Indiana. That's cool. Vancouver doing a good job to hold the blue with 2:20 left. Braden Shen going to wind it around the end wall for Vancouver. Perico trying his best along with Buchnevich to chip it away from Tyler Myers, but Myers uses his reach to get it away. That one's going to be clear down the ice and dead center for Tyler Myers. Five to 2 for Vancouver. Around the rest of the NHL tonight, the Pittsburgh Penguins and San Jose Sharks yet to do battle. Seattle Kraken and Edmonton Oilers are tied at 1. The Detroit Red Wings 5, the Los Angeles Kings 2, Philadelphia Flyers 4, New Jersey Devils 2. Those are the games that have gone on tonight. Your scoring summary for this game looks like this. We roll down the stretch here. Vancouver got the opening marker, Connor Garland's 12th of the year at .252 from Quinn Hughes and Jake DeBrusk. Garland scored his second of the night, 13th of the year, a power play mark at 15:53. The first from Elias Pettersson and Brock Besser. In the second period, JT Miller scored a power play goal, his 9th of the year from Quinn Hughes. And yes, Kevin Lankinen got an assist tonight at 8:26. Dylan Holloway got revenge for an earlier goal being called back from him being shoved into Lankinen by Quinn Hughes. Holloway's 16th of the year power play goal at 10:08 of the second. Hughes Suter, however, would cut it short with a shorthanded goal on a double minor penalty with his 12th of the year from Tyler Myers at 13:36. In the third, Colton Perico got Vancouver back within 2 at 4:22 of the third with his 11th of the year from Matthew Joseph. And Myers' empty net goal is his 3rd of the season. Connor Garland getting a hooking penalty, so alas, that second career hat trick will have to wait for Garland, who looked very determined offensively all night. Vancouver with this win, 1 point shy of the Calgary Flames for the last playoff spot in the Western Conference. And now that really starts to come into view as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline and the Four Nations face-off. Last minute of game here in St. Louis. Tyler Tucker turning from the left point. And it is a sea of empty seats. It was supposed to be a joyous anniversary for the St. Louis Blues. 30 years of this building. The Kiel Center, they site for wrestling fans as well. I know a couple pretty good wrestling pay-per-views have taken place here over the years. And of course, St. Louis fans, how could they forget? There were watch parties there for the St. Louis Cardinals when they were in the World Series in 2013 against Boston. And for all their road games in 2011 against the Rangers. It was actually an auxiliary watch party home for the St. Louis Battlehawks this past year. We're going to get another garbage time penalty. I guess we have to hit a quota tonight, as it's Tyler Tucker for tripping. 15 seconds left. Here's the deal with the wild card. The Avalanche are, again, we mentioned at the offset of this game, Colorado is 5 points ahead of Calgary, but with 3 games in hand. Calgary's only played 48. Vancouver's played 49. And Vancouver's 54 points to Calgary's 55. So it's very conceivable that Calgary could find a way to take over that first wildcard spot. Vancouver just has to keep playing the way they have been and chipping away at it. You may see them in the playoffs this year. A 5-2 win certainly helps things. And that is the final score in Vancouver. One of the best road teams in the NHL. The only teams with better win percentages on the road against playoff teams are in the East. Vancouver wins 5-2. Have a good night, everyone.